get the tractor beam out of commission or this is going to be a real short trip. Okay, hit it!
What's up?
Happy Tuesday, even though, gosh, I'm just like, we're going to have to be doing this again in a few hours for Kenobi.
But yeah, I think we're going to try to keep this one a little bit shorter, everybody, because we are getting on later for Kenobi and Cece needs to rest a little bit.
Yeah. Especially because I have to get up even earlier than usual tomorrow, which is fun.
I actually have to get up earlier than usual tomorrow as well, and it's going to be a freaking nightmare.
I have to be up at 5. What's your...
Not that early, but I have to be up. I mean, early for me is like me being up at 7 is early.
Oh, okay.
That's really early for me. So, you know, because I work from home, so I can do whatever usually. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah.
But I felt this was an important one to try to like sacrifice a little bit of sleep over, because normally I'd probably be trying to nap right now. But we haven't had a Hoth off the press in a while because of Kenobi. So just hang in there for everyone who looks forward to these. Thankfully, there hasn't been a lot of Star Wars print releases. So some of the ones I've seen have been like there was the Batmans and Batman animated series, and Mondo is dropping a Jurassic World Dominion print, which I didn't include in this, but I just wanted to kind of keep it Star Wars only, given we're having kind of an abridged show tonight. Yeah. Trying to keep it at like not our usual length. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it.
Yeah.
So I had teased this gallery show with Ashton Gallagher and Gallery 88 in, is it Los Angeles? I think it's Los Angeles. I can't remember. But these art prints, so the originals, every original he did and study has since sold out, but the prints are still available on Gallery 88. I believe they went on sale on Sunday, and sadly, one of the ones I wanted sold out the same day. So I wasn't able to get it, but this was one of the ones I did get, inspired by Blade Runner. It says inspired by because it's not licensed, but this is one of those mini, so it's 6x6. So the actual live art, I want to say, is 4x4.
Okay.
But limited edition 40. I really liked this, especially if you're tight on space. I mean,
yeah, these are cool to put in little nooks and crannies if you need to fit some stuff in. It's pretty cool. Beautiful.
This one obviously was, so he I have his Leia art print that's still available on his direct website. So this might be a decent companion piece, especially because I don't think it's from the same scene, but the Leia one, she's like mid-speech, like she's like pointing her finger. So these might be nice together. Again, 6x6 limited edition of 40, and as of a few minutes ago was still available on Gallery 88.
And by the way, everyone, Jason's having a little bit of a technical issue, so he might pop in here and there because he's, for some reason, his mic's not working. I don't know what's going on. So
there's something else I was going to say about these. Oh, I'm pretty sure all of them are signed too. All the ones I've gotten have been signed before.
Yeah, those are cool.
So this was the like Harrison Ford trilogy, and sadly it was the Indiana Jones print that has since sold out. That was the one that sold out the same day. But I thought it was cool that he kind of did all of Harrison. If you heard that obnoxious noise, it's my refrigerator. I don't know why it's doing that. Insert is a refrigerator running jokes here. But I thought this was a cool thing to do. Like Harrison Ford's most iconic roles. So if you're a big Harrison Ford fan, I think what I like is I don't actually have any Jason Edmondson prints, but his tend to be, his like Eyes Without a Face series tend to be on the smaller side. So I like those because it means that you could have a gallery wall without having to dedicate a lot of space. I've seen people put these like above cabinets and like breezeways, like entryways, because they're a reasonable size.
Well, this is what we're going to be talking about some coming up, but this is what I wish those ones that we're going to be talking about, the ones that have the kind of the pencil drawing color background. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, those I wish were small like this, because
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
then you could reasonably get like, he's gonna do like I was talking to Jason about this, like he's gonna do the entire Star Wars galaxy in that art form, and like you can't just like where are you gonna put all those? But
Yeah.
if they were reasonably reasonably priced and smaller, then you could get a bunch of them and put them in like a cool tiled like thing. Um,
So
yeah,
if
I like this size.
slowly but surely, I think Ashton Gallagher is kind of doing that. He did like old
Mm,
Ben Kenobi. He's done Kylo Ren. He's done, I think, like older Han Solo,
I like it.
from Force Awakens, Rey, um, Leia from ESB. I want to say Luke. He hasn't done a Vader that
Mm,
I'm aware of, or like a C-3PO and R2 that I'm aware of again. So yeah, you're not wrong about that. This is definitely like he's an artist that I look to often for that reason, because even if it's a franchise I'm not like totally crazy about, but I really appreciate the print, I could find space for something like this.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
so yeah, I get what you're saying with the Gabs, absolutely, and I do have a picture of all of them together, so I can totally see how a gallery wall with those
Hmm.
was kind of difficult. But this is the other one I got that I really liked.
Cool.
What's cool about this one is you could also display it inverted, so like there's no right way to display it, so you can have it upside down or right side up, whichever. This one was a larger edition size, I think, because it was anticipated to be really popular. The original, I think, was $2,000, and everyone knew it was going to sell really fast.
Mm,
But 6.5 by 14.5 inches, and limited
that's
edition
good.
of 50 for this one. And I love how he said the Joker, but Heath in parentheses, because that implies he's willing to do more than just Heath Ledger Joker prints.
Mm,
Um, so that would be really cool. I'm debating if I'd have space to put it behind me in my like Dark Knight cabinet or above it anyway. We'll see when that comes in, but yeah, really cool. So the
mm.
moment we've all been waiting for, and what's exciting is we finally get to talk
Yes,
about
nice.
prints before they've released. And I am so fucking thankful that it's going to be a timed release. I don't have to worry about like feigning illness at noon Eastern Standard Time to, run away to a bathroom to try to order this quickly on my phone
Yeah, that's
before
true.
it sells out. So this is by Chris Valentine. I think he's an artist out of South Africa. Um, it's 24 by 36, which I know is a killer, but I think this is such a statement. It's going to be worth it. I think that's a lot of detail to try to fit in anything smaller than this. But of course, we are all running out of space. Um,
It's a
so they
lot.
will,
It's a lot of
yeah, they
space.
will they will print as many as they sell. In case you're not familiar with timed releases, so these will be available starting tomorrow, Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and they will sell them up into midnight Eastern Standard Time or 11:59 on Thursday.
Yeah,
So
Far from Death Star says this is beautiful, probably best Rogue One poster ever, which
I
I
do
agree.
love
It's
it.
beautiful.
And it's funny because I actually have a Craig Drake that's a very, very similar concept where it's a bunch of death troopers with like billowing smoke behind them.
Yeah.
And I do really like it, but it also looks very, very dark to me, like thematically. It kind of gives me like Nazi Gestapo vibes for some reason. So it's not displayed yet. I do plan on putting it up, but I thought it was interesting that this kind of invoked that. But I love the little pop of white with that stormtrooper doll, and of course the orange, like the flames. It just has
Well,
enough color to be interesting.
my question, and I think I talked briefly with Jason about this because I was really not sure what was going on with the acrylic version, right?
Oh, we'll talk about that. Okay,
I
so
I don't get it.
let's move on to that one then too. So I have this as a separate slide, even though I'll show you the what I'm aware of and I confirmed is the only other acrylic panel print, is what they're calling it, that they've done. And I'll show you what that looks like. So the timed edition is going to be like the paper screen print, which I was actually really surprised that it's a screen print. I don't know if that was a typo. This
It's
doesn't look like
fantastic.
one that they would turn into a screen print. So the screen print is the one that's timed. This is the one that's going to be limited to 100. So kind of like their lenticulars. It's going to include a certificate of authenticity, but what it is, and kind of pricey at 125, just like the lenticulars, is I think they basically encapsulate a digital print, which don't ask me what a digital print means. Because it's not like a screen print that's paper that's encapsulated in acrylic. I don't know if it's the art is printed.
Jason was saying, yeah, Jason was saying it's actually printed on acrylic, on the acrylic. The question I have though is, when people paint on glass or do the acrylic,
Right.
the question I have is the white section, like the white background, is that just see-through? Or are they actually printing every single thing on the thing and it's just encapsulated in acrylic? And so it looks like has that little bit of a 3D look kind of a thing. Like, I'm not sure because, if you print it on acrylic and just some of the parts are you're able to see through them. I don't think I would want that.
I don't think that's what it is, and that's where I'm not 100% sure what they mean by digital print.
Yeah.
On a 4 millimeter thick acrylic panel. To me, seeing the thickness of that, I think it almost looks like the art goes all the way through the acrylic, whereas I thought that little sliver of white that you see is the art, and then over top of it is acrylic.
I
So it's
wouldn't
like encapsulated.
Cece, do you remember the art prints I have in my living room area that are on acrylic essentially? Do you remember those?
In your living room. I don't
They're around there where the dining room table is. I mean, basically, I think it's probably going to be similar to that, where that's what they do. They print,
Okay.
they take the print, they print it, they put it in between acrylic. Or maybe they're actually printing it on acrylic, I don't know. But then they put another piece of acrylic on top of it, let's say, and it gives it this like 3D kind of like a little bit more of like depth to it almost.
Yeah, I think I remember which ones you're talking about, but the one
It's
thing
pretty.
that they said is I think this medium that they said they were experimenting with for a long time before they did the first one, which is the one that is the example shot I showed you. I didn't include the actual one, but it was the Batman. It was released like I think 2 weeks ago or last week. They said that it's gonna look killer in a light box, where they got a lot of people saying, well, paper screen prints don't look amazing in the light box that Baroque sells, but lenticulars do. But if you're not into the kind of the design aesthetic of a lenticular, what are you supposed to do? So they kind of did this to fill that gap.
I could see that because it's acrylic, so you can get that light shining through it a lot better.
And
That'd
that
be
makes
pretty.
sense for the size because the one lenticular they did that was 18 by 24, I could have sworn I've seen people display those without light boxes, but I might be wrong on that. I might have totally made that up because I can't find the post or like where I saw that from. But that would make sense for the size being 24 by 36 to do it in this medium because they don't like Baroque doesn't sell a light box. It's smaller than that.
Yeah. And our trooper says yes, 3D look because of the double light refraction of acrylic. I think it's the same thing I have. It does look it looks very museum. It's very pretty. The problem I have is I just don't know if I don't know if I'd want that being totally different than everything else I have. The same thing with the lenticulars. It's like what I don't want to buy something just like the lenticulars, just like the glow in the dark that's like totally different than what I have, and it's kind of gimmicky. Like I don't want to get into that. So
well, I would worry about like this how to frame it if you're not going to use a light box. And also, like you said, it's almost like if you have frames that use acrylic versus frames that use glass, and I could see it a mile away the difference. I use
Yeah,
both,
sure.
but the ones that I have with acrylic tend to be displayed much higher, so that you can't really see a lot of those differences. But I could totally see that with like you want everything to be consistent. But I like that they're experimenting and trying to give people more options though who have light boxes than like the average. But
Yeah.
it's not. I could tell you, it's not for me. Um, I'm gonna kick it old school and stick with paper, expensive paper.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the screen print. I mean, shit, screen prints are beautiful. Like, this thing definitely deserves at least a screen print because of how amazing this thing is.
Yeah.
And there's not a shit ton of colors in this thing either, so it does make sense. It
Mhm.
makes sense that they could do a screen print, but man, that's gonna be fantastic. And I would say if anybody is interested, I don't know if I will do it this time. I should, but I don't know if I will. If you do framing through Bottleneck, it's really good. They
So
do
I would
a really good
not
job.
you because if you got it matted just like they did the other two, it's going to be consistent. But do know, because I've mentioned this before, like I would never consider matting a print this large. But
Yeah,
I
because it's
think
huge.
I think it's kind of
Huge.
standard with Bottleneck that they'll add
They
a
do add a
very
mat.
narrow white mat to it.
Well,
So
you saw the ones I had in my hallway, CC. They're massive.
yeah,
They're
so that's
huge.
something that if you're like me and you'd prefer this not matted, I'm sure you could like add that framing option to your cart, check out, and then just tell them like, hey, I don't want the
Yeah.
mat, and
Yeah,
they
that's
might
true.
even give you a partial refund or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, and the way you do that, the way you buy from Bottleneck for framing is you buy the print and then you just buy the same size frame and they
Yeah.
connect it in the back end. Like
Yeah.
you really don't even have to say anything. They just know what to do. So
Mhm.
it's pretty sick. And they do a great job. So
And then up next, Gabs.
mm-hmm.
This is Bib Fortuna.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying it all day, Fortuna, just because I can. 13 by 19. This one's going to be edition size of 100.
Looks
So
nice.
something that we are talking about earlier is if you have multiples of these. So 13 by 19, I typically end up putting in a 18 by 24 frame with a mat, and it looks killer, but
Mm-hmm.
that means that you're not. I mean, there's nothing to stop you from getting either like a cheap ready-made frame on Amazon or Frame It Easy or something like that that's 13 by 19 because it's not a standard size. Um, but I just think that the 18s by 24s look great and make it a little more substantial. But that's not if you're creating like a huge gallery.
Yeah.
It's like if you have all of the ones he's created, which I have a slide of that coming up soon. But
what I'll say about this is, and I'll say what Jason was going to say because I talked to him briefly about this and he can't be here, so whatever. He mentioned that the colors of these throw him off a little bit because I think the other ones are more dull and more like they kind of go with the character. Like Lando goes with the character. It makes sense.
Yeah, these ones are a lot brighter.
He was he was kind of thrown off by the colors a little bit. But I mean, I do think they look beautiful. Like I'll say the only thing that bothers me is the size. I think they should be smaller so you can actually get more of these, right?
Mhm.
As he comes out with them.
Yeah.
It's just a bummer.
And then this one, I think, I don't know if it'll be the more exciting one, but I'm glad that he did it. Oh no, not this one. Sorry, give me a second. I forgot about the
Variants.
New Jersey yellow license plate colored variants on these ones. So the variant is a limited edition of 50, and it's just very yellow. I think
Tuna water green is
and then like
it's just
the
bad.
purple hint in the eyes and like the
Yeah, it's
lips and
just not.
stuff.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Again, if you, I think there's almost like it's not sepia though, but it does almost have like a vintage quality where I could see these looking okay together, but I think if you had just one out on display, it would look a bit. I'm just not crazy about
See
this
the
choice.
variants. I think the variants he should have stuck with the exact same color on all the variants, so you can get the variants and match them all up, right?
He
Like
did. It's the same like
is this
yellow.
the same color as the other one? Because
Yeah,
it doesn't look. It looks different to me for
it
some reason.
is.
But that's good. If he's matching the color, then that's great because then at least you can actually match those up and get like something similar to put together. That's cool.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, otherwise the color ones are really cool looking though.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I'd go for color if I did go for something.
and we'll go. So this is the Galen Urso.
That's nice.
Very bright, but yeah, I do like it. And then real quickly, just so you can see the difference in it is the same yellow.
Okay. Is it?
It just this one looks a little darker because the background's darker.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it gets effed up with the colors of the
Yeah, the
pictures and
original.
stuff. I'm sure it's the same. But yeah, very cool. The Galen Urso's fantastic.
Yeah, and I have the
Krennic.
so like I said, this one was an edition size of, or this one is an edition size of 100. I don't know if I said so. These ones, so the Gabs are releasing tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time, the same time as that Rogue One. But again, the timed edition is available for 34 hours, so no need to panic unless you want to get one of these limited ones and that panel that's also
Right.
limited of the Rogue
Right.
One. So because I, as soon as I saw that the Gabs were releasing, I kind of like took a breath, like, okay, I think that means that the Rogue One is timed. Otherwise, I don't think they're that bottlenecks, not that cruel to do that to us, where we're trying to scramble to get multiple prints all at the same time, all Star Wars drops all at the same time. So this is that variant, like I said, that like yellow tone to it, edition size of 50, which is a small edition size.
It is.
But like I was saying, I think all of these together would probably look really great. I have a picture of them together like this.
It's nice.
And I do know someone has a photo of the 4 that have been released so far. So the Windu, the Dooku, the Krennic, and the Lando, and they look really good.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. Um,
But see, they would look so good if they were smaller or they had an option for the smaller size. Because if these were $25 and they were small, I probably would have gotten all of them and just
yeah.
said like, "Oh, cool! Like I can have these small versions of this, and I can throw them in a frame at some point, and that would have been awesome." It's a bummer they're a little bit bigger, but
It's funny looking at this. I have the Krennic, but the ones I keep looking at the most are the Lando and the Mace Windu.
yeah, I mean, my eye gets drawn to Lando, and then what's his face, the blue one, Galen or so.
Galen or so. So the oh, I don't know why I said the Mace Windu and Krennic APs are still available on Gabs' direct website. Pretty sure all of these, except for obviously the ones that are releasing tomorrow. So the Galen
Right?
so and the Bib Fortuna. So the other 4 are available as APs on Gabs' website. I'm fairly certain because I looked today. So which is good. I mean, they're a little pricier than you would have bought directly through Bottleneck because the APs tend to be signed and more limited. But
Right.
know that if for whatever reason you do miss out on these ones, the Galen Urso or the Bib Fortuna, he'll probably in a few months put his APs out on his website. But yeah, I think
Cool.
I'm with you though. I now that we've said it a few times, I wish these were smaller.
Yeah.
So this is actually the last thing I had to talk about. So this might be an even shorter show than I thought, or I could show the
Great.
Mondo I totally forgot about.
It's great. We need to rest for tonight, so it's great.
So this is an acrylic painting, an original that I bought through a charity auction that
cool.
Collectors Cove, a small business in San Antonio, Texas, did on Instagram. So it's the only, well, I think I only have like 2 original pieces of art. So this is the second. But the proceeds of when I bought it were donated to the victims of the Texas school shooting.
Okay.
Because I think the owner of Collector's Cove is originally from that town.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I did want to show this off. I don't know.
Was it expensive, CC? Was it like for original? Was it like okay or
because of the proceed situation? I actually wish it had been more. But it was 150.
Okay, yeah, but still, that's good.
Yeah, 18 by 18 acrylic on canvas with a certificate of authenticity. So I'm gonna try to figure out how I could display it with the De Novo cowl when that shows up eventually. Maybe I gotta figure that out, and maybe have like I'd end up with like a small '89 Batman display of like props and
cool.
art somewhere behind me, perhaps. But yeah, that's
Sith Scale Separatist says that's badass. My favorite Batman.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a sucker for anything that also has like some kind of charity situation attached to it, because that makes me feel a little better about adding to my collection. And yeah, this is beautiful in person. I've got it next to me.
Yeah, that's a killer. It's a killer painting. That's awesome.
Especially he's not like quote unquote. I mean, we know harder faces to capture like Mark Hamill, but I feel like he's not exactly the easiest.
That's because he didn't get hit by a car. So
yeah,
you can,
his
so
face
people
wasn't
can
fucked up.
exactly. So. People can actually make it look like him. It looks great. It looks exactly like him.
Yeah, the whole purpose of this was really to go over this Rogue One print, because the artist posted the original like still on a canvas, and
oh right,
losing their goddamn minds. So I really wanted to. Hence, sorry if you're in our group. I think I posted about this 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But especially because it's a time release, I know people are going to come to me on Friday and be like, "Oh no, it sold out. I missed it." And I'm going to be like, "Jesus, like it was available for 36 hours."
Right.
Why?
Yeah, don't be stupid, people. Just get it if you want it. And I mean the variant's gonna go fast. I honestly don't think I'm gonna get the variant. So I think I'm gonna get the timed, which is nice. Gives you a little time to actually get it, which is great. So yeah, you don't have to rush. That's really, really nice.
Especially if you're like me and I don't have a ton of Rogue One props. So I have like a Death Trooper helmet. I'm working on getting a Shore Trooper helmet, and the Stormtrooper doll is like one of my favorite props ever, and it wasn't even expensive. I have the Disney one that was like $40, but I remember when the movie came out, I almost bought one on Etsy because I thought it was like the coolest thing.
So cool.
It had a lot of character, and it told like a lot of the story cool. About like how children view the Empire and stuff. So I could definitely see this being a great backdrop to a few different Rogue One props. And I appreciate that even years later, we're still getting art like this, because I felt like Rogue One did get kind of the shaft when it came to, like, God knows I have a ton of ESB prints. But I think this is going to be my 1, 2, 3, 4th Rogue One print. That sounds right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's a lot for me, really, if you think about it.
I think I have 3, so I guess that's
far to count my ESB prints. I'd be here a very, very long time. Yeah, I have the Craig Drake that reminds me of this. I have the Krennic, and then I have the Matt Ferguson.
That's right.
Pretty sure those are the only Rogue One prints I have.
I have the I have that one Death Trooper bottleneck one they did where the Death Trooper the top of the head is the Death Star. It's a bit of an older piece. It's either Mondo or
bottleneck. Is that the one where it's like black and then a little bit of green like that?
I think so.
Of the Death Trooper's helmet. I think I know.
Yeah, I think so. I think I got the foil version of that one, and then it's still in a damn tube. And then I have that big one, the other Matt Ferguson one. Other than that, I don't. If I got this one, I think that would be my 3rd. So I love Rogue One. It's one of my favorites.
And if you do, I mean, I think the tones, this one's probably going to be, it might be similar actually, but I was talking to NYC Michael because I know he has the Matt Ferguson Rogue One variant.
Yeah.
So like the black and gray with like pops of color. And he was like, damn, this one's huge. Like, I don't have space for it. And I was like, those will look killer in the same room at least, if not side by side.
If Michael, if you're watching this, or if whoever else is watching this that is hesitant, I would probably pick this up just to have it, because
That's what we discussed. Yeah. Like, put it in a portfolio. Like, if you can't, this is one of those once in a lifetime opportunities.
Yeah. One of those ones that comes up every week.
Yeah. And I mean, I really liked his Dark Knight print was really popular. And that's kind of how I ended up finding out about his name. But I think this one's far more popular. Like, when he posted it on, I think it was Instagram or Twitter, it had like 2,000 reactions to it in like 48 hours. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that this is timed, like I said, because I don't give a shit about numbers. So if you really want a really low number, then hop on right at noon and place your order. But for me, I might just like whenever I get time to order it, I'll probably do that.
Far from Death Star says this will be my third Rogue One print. My favorite still is Jyn staring off to the TIE fighter, since it never showed up in the movie, only in the trailer.
Oh, is that the Carl Fitzgerald one?
I don't remember that one either, but
because I think was Andy Fairhurst did one too, like that. But no, Carl Fitzgerald did one. But his art is like very, very moody. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. And then other than that,
it's gonna be so good.
So we have Kenobi tonight, and then Matt therapy on Friday.
I think that's it. Yeah, I've got to figure out if we're doing group therapy on Friday or Saturday morning. I'm not quite sure yet, so I'll have to ask Steve. But yeah, we are doing, guys. If you can hang out with us tonight, we're gonna watch. We're gonna do another Shelter in Space. Watch what is it, episode 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think now, and hang out. Honestly, guys, I know it's either super early or late or whatever you want to say, but the chat's pretty popping after we finish watching, especially because people just kind of hop in and we have a lot of good conversation. So come hang out if you can. But otherwise, that's it. Make sure you guys are able to grab this, at least this one. This one's going to be special, I think. So
yeah, again, once in a lifetime opportunity.
Once in a lifetime.
But thanks for joining. I know it's a short one. Hopefully we'll go on track with these after Kenobi. But thankfully it hasn't been a lot of Star Wars print news. But I'll be better when I'm in a routine and stuff too. But yeah, looking forward to Kenobi tonight. Episode 5.
Yep. All right, guys.
Bye.
Peace out.